Now I'm going to go over some German stereotypes and some just general observations I've made in the past week and the last several years of coming here. I've been coming to Germany since I was 5, so I think I have a pretty good take on what's true and what's not about German culture. Germans and their music taste. So there's certain artists and songs that you will hear often on the radio. ABBA, I know they're Swedish, but there's some secret, special, unspoken connection between ABBA and Germany. They love ABBA. They love Phil Collins. If I had a penny for every time I heard Another Day in Paradise this last week, I would be rich. And just other Phil Collins songs in general. Honorable mentions are Tina Turner and Lionel Richie. I don't know why, but I keep hearing them on the radio. So songs. We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. I've heard that multiple times on the radio every day. Okay, Wouldn't It Be Good by Nick Kershaw. I've heard that every single day. Like at least twice a day, every day. One song that is the most hideous song I've ever heard that they keep playing is Carrie by Europe. It's awful. I didn't know who sang it. I just know it's like Carrie, Carrie over and over. And so I Googled Carrie song and it said it was by Europe, which is also a Swedish group. 2 songs that I've heard in Europe in general, like in France and Spain and stuff. Englishman in New York by Sting and Luca by Suzanne Vega. 2 more honorable mentions are Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper and It Never Rains in Southern California, which I think is Albert Hammond. Another song that I've heard every day, multiple times on the radio, is Dancing with Tears in My Eyes or Our Eyes or something. It's by Ultravox. So that Ultravox song, Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire, and Wouldn't It Be Good by Nick Kershaw. I've heard these songs on the radio every day, multiple times a day. They love it. I'm gonna go over some German stereotypes. I think some of them are true and some of them are not true. One German stereotype is that they're very anal about time and punctual, and that in my experience is definitely true. The clock is like God sitting up here and they're like, oh, the clock, because if a German tells you a time, that they're gonna be there right on time. I definitely have that in me because I'm super anal about time, and I have this weird internal clock where I can calculate, like, okay, I need to leave at this time and I should arrive at this time, and if I stop to do this, and I'll work it out and somehow end up at the place I need to be at exactly the right time. I think it's in the blood. The rules, yes, they do love to follow rules. There are many rules here and they love to follow them. Well, the one rule that they don't seem to follow that much is the speed limit. If you're going through towns where you're supposed to slow down to 50 when you're in a town, anytime I do that, I always get massively tailgated. But I don't like to go faster than 50 because there's always cameras in the town, and so I'm not gonna risk getting a ticket. So they don't seem to really care about the speed limits, but I think everything else they tend to follow the rules and obey what they're supposed to do. At Reve, the other day, there was this girl and this guy, and they were buying a box of Capri Suns, and the girl was already drinking one, and the cashier got all funny about it, and they told her that they got it at the kiosk thing at the train station, but she thought they took it out of the Capri Sun box, like she had taken it out in the store and was drinking it, and told them that next time they couldn't bring it into the store, the single Capri Sun packet from the train station. First of all, the box was sealed up, so they obviously didn't take it out of the box. And second of all, if they did take it out of the box, what does it matter? She's buying the box, so if she wanted to drink one while she was walking around the store, then what does it matter? She bought the box. I do that all the time at the store. If I'm thirsty or hungry and I'm gonna buy something, I can open it right there and eat it or drink it and then pay for it when I get to the line. But I think that's probably like a no-no in Germany. I think a lot of people, or at least a lot of people in America that I know, think when you get on the freeway in Germany, you can just go however fast you want, and you can't. Sometimes you'll be driving and it'll be 120 or 130. Sometimes you'll see with the double lines through it, which means there's no speed limit, and yeah, you can go however fast you want, but it's not all the time everywhere. Like, there are speed limits on certain points on the autobahn. They have cameras everywhere. I think another thing people think about Germans is that they're not friendly or maybe kind of cold or something, but I've never found that to be the case ever. I've never interacted with a rude or cold or unfriendly German. They're always friendly, they're always nice, they're relaxed, so I don't know where that stereotype comes from. I think they were always pleasant and nice. I don't know if this is a common stereotype, but this is a stereotype I've decided on, is that Germans have, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend you, but you have no style. They have, I feel bad saying it, but they have terrible style. Terrible. Like, especially after being in France for the last few months and then Italy, where people dress so good. When I came here, I was like, I've always known that they're more into the practical, utilitarian look where you dress for function, not for style. But after being in those countries and then coming here, I'm like, whoa. I don't know if it's bad style or just absolutely no style. I think it's that there's no style. Every time I get German magazines and I go to the fashion section, I'm like, oh. So I'm gonna show you what they consider fashionable here. These blue outfits. This looks like something from a Spiegel catalog in 1996. This, what? How? I'm done with my fashion rant. Yes, they do love efficiency. Driving here is really easy because they drive efficient, they drive smart. You never have to guess what they're gonna do because they just drive smart. You'll be coming up behind a big rig and there's a car next to you. He knows you're gonna wanna get over and past the big rig, so he'll move over to the left and then you get over, so there's no braking involved, there's no slowing down. Like, they think ahead. If you're not passing somebody, you get right back in the right lane, and it's like things just flow smoothly. I do love driving here. It's really easy. They love recycling. I've already shown you this in the other video that they love to sort out the plastics, the different types of plastics, the cardboards and papers, glass and different colored glass. They're very meticulous and anal about sorting out the recycling. I don't know if this is a stereotype or not. You don't really see it on the list, but is that Germans are clean, and that is true. I've never had to worry about, like, when I book a hotel or an Airbnb or something, I've never had to worry about, oh, is it going to be clean or not, because it is. Like, you never have to worry about coming into a dirty place. The sheets, the towels, everything will always smell like fresh laundry. Everything will be clean. Never, ever, ever. Austria too. I know. Switzerland. Never have to worry about a place being dirty. This last stereotype kind of goes with them being like cold or standoffish. It's that Germans aren't funny. I guess it depends on which German you're talking to. I don't know. I've met a lot of funny Germans. I think my cousins are really funny. I always laugh when I'm with them. So I think it just probably depends on who you're with. There's unfunny people all over the world and funny people too. Here's some just observations about Germany that you might not think of. Maybe don't know about this before you come here for the first time. Okay, when you're on the freeway or on the just driving, if there's like a traffic jam or slowdown, people don't just brake or come to a stop. They always put their emergency flashers on. So in the US, we just tend to come to a stop on the freeway, but in Germany, they'll put their emergency flashers on as they're slowing down to warn the people behind them. Gas is expensive compared to the US, but groceries are, I think, a little bit cheaper than the US. Maybe the same, but I think for the most part they're cheaper, which is interesting because when I was younger, the groceries used to be a lot more expensive than the US. They have two different kinds of drugstores, I guess. One called a druggery, which is like DM is one of their biggest chains. And then they have the apotheques, which are more like where you can get behind the counter things and prescriptions. Those tend to be smaller and mostly just like supplements and pills. When you want something like Walgreens or CVS kind of thing, then you can go to DM and they'll have everything you need. But if you need something more specific, like behind the counter item or a prescription drug, then you'd have to go to the apotheke. One thing you will find is that there are bakeries everywhere and they have really good breads and like sweets and stuff. So attached to pretty much every grocery store is a bakery, and there's standalone bakeries, and then even attached to hardware stores there's bakeries, and some of them even have sit down areas like where you can order coffee and get your baked goods delivered on a plate. And so they really love bakeries. And yes, you can get your pretzels there, and no, they are not all good. Like, some of the pretzels are really average. Germans do love to be outdoors, and anytime the sun is shining, they're out for sure. And they're just out in general, but definitely when the sun is out, it's like, oh! This is kind of a weird observation, but the German cemeteries are beautiful. They're beautiful, and each plot is done really nicely with flowers, and they really maintain them. And I think out of probably any country I've been to, the German graveyards are definitely the most beautiful and well taken care of. I know people think Germans are like uptight and not friendly and stuff, but I think they love to find any reason to make party machen. Anytime they can celebrate or have some kind of party thing, they're going to do it. Well, those are the only stereotypes and observations I can think of right now.